In the mighty kingdom of Ogbenne, there lived a young maiden named Nana, blessed with a voice so powerful it could calm storms, heal broken hearts, and bring peace to troubled souls. People traveled from distant villages just to hear her sing. Her voice was so soft like the evening breeze and sweet like honey from the royal gardens. It was said that whenever Nana sang, crying babies would fall asleep peacefully, wounded hearts would forget their pain, and even the birds would stop in the sky just to listen. The people of Ogbenne believed her voice was a gift from the gods. Every market day, villagers gathered around her little hut by the riverside, waiting to hear the magical melodies that flowed from her lips. But behind Nana's gentle smile was a hidden sadness no one truly understood. Then one day, tragedy struck the palace. The king of Ogbenne fell terribly ill. The best healers, herbalists, and priests tried everything, but his sickness only grew worse. The kingdom slowly lost hope until an old priestess spoke of Nana, the girl whose voice carried the breath of healing spirits. Nana was summoned to the palace. At first, the queen disliked the idea of a common village girl entering the royal chambers. But the king was dying, and there was no other choice. That night, Nana sat beside the king and sang softly beneath the moonlight. Her voice flowed through the palace like sacred water. Before sunrise, the king opened his eyes. The entire kingdom rejoiced. The people called Nana the golden voice of Ogbenne. The king himself became deeply attached to her presence because whenever she sang, his pain disappeared completely. But joy soon gave birth to jealousy. The queen began to notice the king smiling again, only when Nana was near. Servants praised Nana more than they praised the queen herself. Rumors spread through the palace that the gods favored the village girl more than the royal bloodline. Jealousy slowly poisoned. One stormy night, she secretly ordered her guards to capture Nana and take her deep into the evil forest where no one ever returned alive. There, Nana was to be killed beside the sacred river, so her voice would never be heard again. But fate had its own plans. As the guards dragged Nana into the forest, she began to sing through her tears. Suddenly, thunder shook the trees, violent winds rose into the sky, and covered the forest paths. Terrified, the guards believed the spirits themselves were protecting her. In the confusion, Nana escaped. The guards fled back to the palace and lied to the queen. Nana is dead. After the evil act was carried out, the palace became strangely silent. The joyful songs that once floated through the royal walls disappeared completely. Days passed, and the people of Ogbenne began to notice that Nana was nowhere to be found. The market women stopped hearing her morning melodies by the riverside. The children who once danced around her hut now sat quietly in confusion. Even the birds that gathered near the palace windows seemed to vanish. The king searched desperately for Nana. Soldiers were sent across villages, forests and river banks, Yet no trace of her was found. The king locked himself inside his chambers for days, refusing food and royal meetings. At night, servants heard him crying loudly. I only wanted to hear her sing once more. Soon, strange things began happening in Ogbenne. Crops dried up. The rivers became restless at night. Sick people, who once recovered after hearing Nana's songs, now died without peace. Even the gods remained silent. For the first time in the history of Ogbenne, the sacred shrine gave no answers. The priest burned incense for 7 nights, but the flames refused to rise. The oracle spoke no prophecy. Fear spread throughout the kingdom. Meanwhile, unknown to everyone in Ogbenne, Nana had escaped to a neighboring village called Amari. Weak, wounded and exhausted, she collapsed beneath a tree where an elderly widow named Mama Ezenwa found her and cared for her like a daughter. Nana chose to hide her identity, but her gift could not remain hidden forever. One evening, while helping care for a sick child, Nana softly sang an old healing melody. Before sunrise, the child recovered completely. Soon, the villagers began whispering, "The strange young woman with the golden voice can heal the sick." People traveled from nearby villages seeking her help. Nana became loved once again, but this time she lived carefully, always covering her face in public for the fear the queen's spies might discover she was alive. Then one evening, a traveling merchant from Ogbenne arrived in Amari and heard Nana singing from inside Mama Ezenwa's hut. The cup in his hand fell instantly, because no matter how much time had passed, he would never forget that voice. He remained in the village for several days, secretly observing her, until one quiet evening beside the river, he finally approached her. "Nana," he called softly. The moment she heard her name, fear filled her eyes. "You know me," she whispered. "The entire kingdom mourns you," the merchant replied. "The king has become a shadow of himself. Why did you leave without a word?" Tears gathered in Nana's eyes as she revealed the terrible truth. "I did not leave willingly," she said quietly. "I escaped death." The merchant froze in shock as Nana explained how the queen ordered her execution out of jealousy. "The king deserves to know you are alive," the merchant said firmly. But Nana stepped back in fear. "If the queen discovers I survived, she will finish what she started." "The kingdom is dying without you," the merchant replied. That night, Nana could not sleep. She stood at the edge of the river, torn between two destinies. To return to Ogbenne meant facing the kingdom that betrayed her, and to remain in Amari meant abandoning people who still suffered. Then one morning, Mama sitting beneath a tree surrounded by birds. "You cannot hide from destiny forever, my child," the old woman said gently. Nana looked toward the rising sun. "What if my destiny is no longer with kings and palaces?" The old woman smiled softly. "Then perhaps your gift was never meant for one kingdom alone." Those words changed Nana forever. That very night, she climbed the sacred hills beyond Amari and sang beneath the full moon. As her voice rose into the heavens, hundreds of birds gathered around her. White birds, golden birds, and rare singing birds, unseen for many years. The wind carried her melody across forests, rivers, and distant villages. Sick travelers claim their pain vanished after hearing strange songs in the night. Lonely widows spoke of a mysterious singing bird that perched near their windows until their hearts felt whole again. Soon, legends spread across the land. People began speaking of the singing bird of the moon, a mysterious spirit that appeared whenever sorrow lived. Some believe it was a goddess, others believe it was Nana herself. Meanwhile, in Ogbenne, the queen finally discovered the queen's betrayal. Heartbroken and ashamed, he spent his remaining years seeking forgiveness for failing to protect the one person who saved his life. But Nana never fully returned to the palace. Instead, she became something greater than royalty, a wandering voice, a healing spirit, a legend carried by the wind. And on quiet night, when the moon shines brightest over the forest of Ogbenne, people still claim they hear a beautiful song drifting through the darkness, a reminder that true gifts can never be imprisoned by jealousy.